Unless you've been living under a rock, you would have probably seen this headline, which smacks you in the face. When you read this, you probably think, wow, there were 150 people at the ATO who took advantage of the TikTok GST fraud, but that's not really what it says. But hey, here's the ATO statement that they put out only about 6 hours ago. Taken action against a small number, 12, of those who are substantiated as having committed the fraud while working at the ATO. So I get it why the headline wasn't 138 former ATO employees and 12 current employees suspected of committing fraud, because it doesn't really roll off the tongue, but the specifics are a bit important here. And there's an interesting line up here. Some of the ATO officials were victims of identity theft and they weren't actually committing fraud. Someone had just stolen their identity. It's not clear how that relates to the small number 12 that we have here. Now here's where it gets interesting. This all comes out of the Australian National Audit Office's annual audit of the ATO, and particularly on their fraud control arrangements for GST. The ATO official fraud thing is the only thing that the media actually reported on, but read the actual report. ANAO is actually quite critical of the ATO's management of GST fraud in general. It's very fragmented inside the ATO. Each area manages fraud separately and differently, which is probably why the internal controls didn't work and why somebody had tried to get a BAS refund of $2.4 million. We don't know whether that one was let through or stopped, but gee, I hope it was stopped. But the report has some problems as well. So this is in the report, which is total estimated amount lost to external fraud against the Australian government. And we look at 2020, 2021, it's like 250 million total. And most of it's from the ATO. But wasn't the GST fraud like $4 billion? That's what the ATO said they stopped or they recovered. We don't know how much was actually lost yet. So what I'm telling you is have a look at the actual ANAO report. And if you have anything you want me to look at specifically, I will.